Vladimir Komarov's doomed mission. In 1967, Soviet cosmonaut Vladimir Komarov was selected to command Soyuz 1, a spacecraft that was less reliable than a McDonald's ice cream machine. Soyuz was meant to be the Soviet Union's next leap in the space race, following their successful Vostok and Voshchod missions. Komarov's flight would be the first test of this new spacecraft. Engineers repeatedly warned of serious problems with its design and manufacture. Despite the warnings, Soyuz 1 was cleared for launch. The mission went wrong faster than pineapples on a pizza. Solar panels failed, navigation died, and the vessel's radio went dark. Against all odds, and after orbiting the Earth 18 times in his flying coffin, Komarov managed to point the craft toward the planet and re-enter its atmosphere. Then came the final betrayal. The parachutes responsible for slowing Soyuz descent didn't open. Soyuz hit the ground at speeds up to 40 miles per second. The crash left almost nothing of Komarov or his spacecraft. Thankfully for future cosmonauts, the laundry list of problems that plagued Soyuz was fixed. It only took one brave soul hurtling toward the Earth at Mach speeds for anyone to listen. The Nedelin Catastrophe. When it comes to rushing deadlines, most people just end up with sloppy work. In 1960, the Soviets ended up with something much worse when they rushed to test their new intercontinental ballistic missile. The R-16 missile was the Soviets' answer to America's nuclear arsenal. With pressures mounting internally to demonstrate the USSR's missile capabilities, the Soviets tasked one of their military commanders, Mitrofan Nedelin, with carrying out the demonstration. Nedelin was determined to succeed even if that meant ignoring every safety protocol in the book. On October 24, 1960, dozens of technicians were working to prepare the R-16 for its launch, when a short circuit fired up the engines at the wrong time. The blast turned the launch pad into an inferno of toxic flames and claimed as many as 150 lives. Since the R-16 was part of their secret nuclear missile program, the Soviets covered up the entire disaster. They told families their loved ones died in a plane crash and kept the truth hidden for 3 decades. While the space race pushed both sides to reach for the stars, parallel missile programs like the R-16 showed the more intentionally explosive side of the era's rocket development. Skylab's near disasters. America's first space station got off to the kind of start that would make even the most disastrous home reno project look smooth. Skylab was meant to be humanity's first long-term home in space, a place where astronauts could live and work for months at a time. Things got off to a turbulent start, with atmospheric forces ripping away Skylab's protective shield just 1 minute into launch. Without the sun shield, temperatures inside Skylab soared. The $2.5 billion station was effectively turned into the world's most expensive solar oven. The shield took one of the main solar panels with it, crippling the station's power supply. 11 days after Skylab's disastrous launch, the first crew blasted off, packed with hastily designed tools and repair materials. While their repairs kept Skylab operational for several years, the station's streak of bad luck wasn't over. In 1979, Skylab came crashing back to Earth, spreading its debris across the Australian outback. The Lost Cosmonauts Theory. The USSR's Yuri Gagarin was famously the first human in space, but according to some conspiracy theorists, he might have just been the first one to make it back alive. In the early 1960s, 2 Italian brothers claimed they'd picked up disturbing radio transmissions from secret Soviet space missions. Their recordings allegedly captured the final moments of cosmonauts during failed launches that the USSR simply erased from history. And the brothers weren't alone. In 1959, an alleged high-ranking Czechoslovakian communist leaked information about several supposed cosmonaut deaths. When Western reporters tried to verify the claims, the Soviets provided photos of the allegedly dead cosmonauts, very much alive and working as test pilots. After the fall of the Soviet Union, researchers got access to previously classified files. No evidence ever surfaced of secret deaths in space. Though the theory was debunked, it spawned decades of speculation about what else the space programs might be hiding. After all, if the Soviets could cover up the Nedelin disaster for 30 years, who knows what other secrets never made it back to Earth?